Hey, this is Mike from the Run Testers, and this is our first run review of the Nike Pegasus 40. Okay, so what do you need to know about the Nike Pegasus 40? Well, obviously the Pegasus is an iconic line in Nike's running shoe lineup, like the 39 and the shoes that came before it. It's very much still classed as a kind of daily trainer workhorse shoe, something that you can use for kind of shorter, longer runs. You can do a kind of little bit of speed work in it as well. So it's kind of versatile, all-in-one shoe ultimately. Now we'll start with the price. And the Pegasus 40 is £125, $130 in the US. And that sees the Pegasus 39 drop to around £80 to £90, $80 to $90 essentially, to give you a sense of where the new 40 sits against the 39 now that the 40 is here. Now in terms of what's not changed, you are still getting that kind of 10mm drop. You are getting that kind of Nike React kind of midsole. That includes that kind of those two kind of air zoom pods as well to kind of deliver the type of ride that you can expect from this shoe and give you that kind of versatile shoe that works for different kind of speeds and paces. You are getting, I think mainly you are getting changes around the upper. That's where the key changes we're seeing here. You're still getting that kind of waffle kind of tread style outsole, which I can, I've got the 39 in black as well, so you can kind of see it's very similar there. The changes mainly are around the upper, and I think the main ones being the kind of extra bit of padding you're getting on the heel collar here, and I'll kind of zoom into that as well. You're getting a change in the kind of lacing system as well, and again these are all things to kind of improve the kind of level of comfort and fit that you're going to get on the 40 compared to the 39. You can see also, and I'll go in kind of zoom in closely on this in terms of the change on the kind of upper in general. Nike has also redesigned the kind of midfoot bands, kind of again improve that fit, but ultimately you are getting a shoe that feels very similar to the Nike Pegasus 39. As I said, in terms of that midsole, in terms of that outsole, it's really about the kind of upper changes that you're getting here that are really you potentially may see some differences in this shoe. So those are the key differences. That's how much it's going to cost to get the Pegasus 40 compared to the 39. Now let's get into that run test.
Fit-wise, these fit really similar to the 39. I'm a UK 5. In Nike, I'm a UK 5, but they're actually a US 7.5. And I think in most brands, a UK 5 is a UK 7. So they are half the size bigger. And I always wear a 5 in Nike, but they do have a lot of room in the toe box. I think Nike made a big thing about these being different to the Peg 30 because they've changed the fit, and it is a super comfortable fit. I've not had any issues. I've got loads of room in the toe box with them, and they lace up really nicely. Yeah, they're really comfy. I've not had any problems, any rubbing, any chafing. Really nice padded tongue, kind of a good amount of padding around the heel. Super comfy.
So fit for me overall was pretty solid on the Pegasus 40. I think very similar to the 39, where compare that to the 38, where I think it made a more roomy, more spacious shoe. And I didn't mind the fit of the 38, but I think definitely in terms of the 39 and now the 40, this definitely feels a lot more kind of accommodating. I've got quite skinny feet, so it definitely feels pretty spacious and roomy up front here, but I think it opens the door for in terms of the types of feet this is going to work for in terms of the room and space that you're going to get here. So I think particularly up front in the toe box like the 39, you're getting plenty of space, plenty of room there for when you need to run a little bit longer and need that extra bit of space. I think the the midfoot is good hold there as well, and you've got that padding, which apparently you're supposed to have a little bit more padding here. I can't say I really massively noticed here, but elsewhere I think it feels very similar to what we got with the 39 in terms of that fit. I think it feels very strong. I think it's a good level of comfort, and yeah, I mean personally, as I said, my UK size 8, I wouldn't think about going up a size or down a size, or half a size in the Pegasus 40. So first run done in the Pegasus 40. I did 8k in this shoe. I'm kind of building up my running after injury, so it's kind of a gradual kind of process at the moment. So I did kind of a pretty easy going kind of 5k, kind of just below kind of 5k kind of pace, and then I did kind of 30 seconds rest, and I did kind of a minute, kind of picking up the tempo a little bit and getting down to kind of 4:15 kind of k pace as well. Roughly that's where I'm at the moment. And ultimately what I would say is that Pegasus 40 feels very much like the 39 in terms of the ride, in terms of the feel of running in this shoe. That's probably not a massive surprise. It's the same midsole makeup, it's the same drop. And in terms of that feeling, it's kind of smooth, consistent, steady. That's what it feels like. I think the most interesting thing for me, I think the upper changes, I think I'll only really notice or get a real sense if those really make a difference in terms of kind of longer runs. But in terms of that kind of 8K run that I did, I don't feel like I've massively noticed a lot in terms of that. What I did notice, or what I have found interesting, is that it has gone up in weight a little bit. In my UK size 8, it's a kind of, I think it's about 20 grams in terms of that kind of added weight. So that's quite a lot. And, you always almost expect a newer shoe and a new iteration of shoe to cut some weight. But so ultimately, whatever the changes have been made in this upper has added to the weight of this shoe. And it's not a particularly super light shoe, and you compare it to some other kind of workhorse daily trainer shoes that are out there. But in terms of that experience in that run of running in this shoe, as I said, it feels very similar to the Pegasus 39. And as I said, it's not a massive surprise when you think about how much has actually changed in terms of that midsole. And it's the same with the outsole as well, really. I think, it's absolutely fine. I was on dry roads. It's a warm day, warm conditions. I think you've got an outsole here, again, that can probably handle a little bit kind of light trail work as well if you want to kind of wander off road as well and do some stuff. And it feels like it's going to handle a decent amount of regular running as well. So, yeah. For me, ultimately, with the Pegasus 40, it's, it feels very similar to the 39. It's not the most lively ride, but what you're going to get from this shoe is that it's going to be consistent. It's going to be able to work for some kind of more up-tempo stuff. But I'm a little bit kind of surprised that it has jumped up a little bit in weight. And I think when you compare it to some other kind of daily trainer shoes that are a little bit lighter from other kind of brands out there, then yeah, it's a bit of a surprise on that front. And I almost wish it was a little bit lighter in general. But yeah, I think my overall feeling is that it feels like a Pegasus. It feels a lot like the Pegasus 39. The upper changes, I think, I'd like to see how those kind of pan out and kind of longer kind of runs in this shoe. But yeah, I would say at the moment, this feels like a very familiar shoe to run in, and one that if you like the Pegasus 39, then you're going to get more of the same, I think, here on the Pegasus 40.
I've worn them for a few easy runs. I did wear them for my last session, which had 2 miles at race pace. So I was kind of trying to pick up the pace a little bit for 2 miles and then kind of back off for a bit. And they handled that well. I mean, they've still got the React foam. They've got the 2 Zoom Air units in the front and the back, which is the same as the Peg 39. The React foam has been the same foam since the Peg 37. So it's kind of definitely a firmer midsole foam. I mean, I think on tired legs, if I was to run today, I'd want the plushness, the softness of the Invincible. The React is definitely a firmer midsole foam, but I think that's what we've know and love from the Peg. And I don't think you want a really cushioned Peg wouldn't be a Peg, would it? So it's got a good amount of versatility. I was able to pick the pace up and do race pace in it, but it probably wouldn't be the shoe I'd reach for a tempo session. That said, I feel like we need to move away from this idea that runners want to buy 5 pairs of shoes for all their different sessions. And if you did buy this shoe and you're a beginner, you could easily do all of your sessions in it. There's no reason why you couldn't pick up the pace in it. You could do easy runs in it. It's got enough cushioning for an easy run too. I just think it's not the most exciting shoe Nike make anymore, and they make better, faster shoes, and they make more cushioned, easy everyday shoes. But it's in the middle of the road. It's an affordable shoe, and I'll be looking forward to doing more running in it now the marathon is out of the way and I can really put through its paces a bit more. But yeah, I was able to do sessions and an easy run in it and had no problem. So my very early verdict after a week of testing, obviously I need to do a lot more in this shoe, is that it feels very similar to the Peg 39. Not a lot has changed apart from the kind of upper, and the fit has had a little tweak. But I think I found the fit of the 39 really comfortable and it fits pretty similar. It's a little bit more kind of cushioning and support, I'd say, around the arch and around your foot in the shoe. But I had a really good kind of locked in feel in the shoe. It fits really well. I think if you're a fan of the Peg 39, you'll love this shoe. If you're upgrading from like a Peg 36, you'll notice a difference because the React foam will feel a bit different. But it's the Pegasus we know and love. Not an awful lot has changed, so now might be a good time if you're on a budget to buy the 39 because there's not an awful lot of difference. I think I was expecting Nike to make more of a thing because it's the 40th anniversary of the shoe, but you know, maybe big birthdays just slip by unnoticed, and that's perfectly fine. So yeah, I did enjoy running in this shoe. I'm looking forward to doing more miles in it. It's the same peg we know and love. It's not the most exciting shoe Nike make anymore, but that's not a bad thing, and it's still the same reliable Pegasus we know and love, and I do think this fits really well and it is really comfortable.
Okay, so initial verdict on the Nike Pegasus 40 is that I think if anyone was expecting it to be a kind of massive upgrade on the 39, then that's not quite the case, I don't think, here. I think maybe if you're looking for some versions before that, then yeah, maybe so. But ultimately, it feels very similar to the 39 for me in terms of that first run. And I think maybe we're going to have to wait maybe a next iteration or a version after that to get something a bit more radical, I think, from Nike on this front. Because the Pegasus 40, as I said, feels very similar. And yeah, it really is down to those kind of upper changes, which ultimately have added some weight to this shoe. And, you know, whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not entirely convinced. But I think if you like the experience of running in a 39, this is going to feel very similar. You're going to get a familiar kind of feeling running in this shoe. I don't think it means it's necessarily worth upgrading if you have just got the 39. I think if you've got an older version and you are looking for the latest Pegasus, then you can have a look at this. But ultimately, I think you could probably save yourself some money and go for the 39. But as I said, I think the upper changes, which are the real differences between this and the 39, I need to run a little bit longer in it to see whether those really alter the experience of running in this shoe. I think if I look at other kind of workhorse daily trainer shoes in this price range particularly, I think of things that, you know, that I've run a lot in: the Hoka Mach 5, I think things like the Puma Velocity Nitro 2, I think also you could probably add the Saucony Ride 16. I think if you compare it to something like the Hoka Mach 5, I think that feels a little bit more snappy, responsive, a little bit lighter as well, though I think that works a little bit nicer for me on my feet. I've, you know, as I said, I've got quite narrow feet, and I think that kind of fit works a little bit more, where I think the Pegasus 40 feels a little bit more spacious. I think something like the Puma Velocity Nitro 2, again, I feel like the ride feels a little bit more exciting, and again, you've got versatility in that shoe as well, and it is cheaper than the Pegasus 40 as well. And then you've got something like the Saucony Ride 16, which again, I think the ride again feels a little bit more plush, a little bit more bounce there, if that's something that you want. And then you've got an upper, I think, as well, which is kind of roomy and accommodating like the Pegasus 40, and that's around this price as well. So I think the Pegasus 40 sits well around those kind of other options around this price. If you look at other kind of brands, is it a massive upgrade, or does it feel like a massive upgrade from the 39? I don't think it does. But if you want something that potentially can give you a little bit of a kind of comfort and fit kind of boost in terms of what you got on the 39, there might be something here. But I said I'd like to reserve my judgment on that until I've run a little bit longer in this shoe. So yeah, initial thoughts on the Pegasus 40. I think not a massive upgrade on the 39, but it feels like everything we kind of got from the 39, which, you know, did feel like an improvement on the 38, which wasn't a strong version or a strong installment of the Pegasus. I think you're getting more of the same here from last year's version, and if that's something you want, then that's kind of what you're going to get here based on what I can see from my first run in the Pegasus 40. Okay, so there you have it. Those are some initial thoughts on the Nike Pegasus 40. Now, obviously, plenty more testing to be done in this shoe before we do our full review. Nick also has his shoe as well, so he'll be joining us on the full review video as well. In the meantime, if you've got any questions about this shoe, let us know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about our latest videos, and yeah, we'll see you for the next Run Testers video.